Hey, thanks for clicking on my video. My name's Trent and I'm an account executive who works in software sales. I make these videos to talk about my own experiences and lessons learned. Today, we're gonna cover how to overcome objections on the phone. I've made over 80,000 outbound cold calls, and I think there's 5 important things you need to know as you seek to find more success while cold calling. If you wanna make more dials this week, hit the like button now. The first thing you need to know is that it's not personal. I think a lot of us don't make as many calls as we know we could be making, or don't put ourselves out there enough because we're afraid of being rejected, we're afraid of failure, we're afraid of being told no. We as humans want to feel belonging, we want to feel special. And when you call someone up and you need them to say yes to be successful in your job, whatever it is you're selling, but then they say no, and then maybe in a hostile way, they say, I don't accept solicitation calls. Who are you? I don't want your thing. Never call me again. It doesn't make us feel very good about ourselves, and it's discouraging. So we want to do less of what makes us feel bad. So we don't make as many calls as we need to be making. But I think that's the wrong way and the opposite way to be looking at it. When we're making cold calls, when we're making call to actions, we're trying to get conversions, we're trying to set meetings, we're trying to sell our thing, whatever it is. If you're told no, we're actually paid to be told no. That's literally our job, to seek out no's and eventually get a yes. And it's not personal because they are not rejecting you, the person. They are not saying that you don't belong or that you're not good enough. They're just simply saying no because the merits of your idea, the merits of your offer, the merits of your call to action does not resonate with them. It does not speak to their own curiosities, their own benefits, what they want. So if you cannot give them what they want, you cannot get what you want. So it's actually good to get told no. It's fine to be rejected because that's the only way we're gonna get closer to a yes. So it's not personal, and once we remove that limitation, it's liberating in a way to actually want to make more calls. The second thing you need to know is to control what you can control to avoid objections. How often have you been on a call and you're not quite sure what you're saying? So you end up asking a blanket statement, a yes or no question, and then you end up pinning yourself in a corner where you are not controlling the call, and then you basically walk yourself into a place where you get objected. And what I mean by this is if you're not calling the right buyer personas, if you don't know what you're going to say, if you don't have the correct opener, if you're not using an appropriate tone, pitch, inflection, then you are quote unquote shooting yourself in the foot. You are not helping your case to get the desired outcome. So if you do not control what you can control, you will be told no more, you will face more rejections, your set rate will go down. So you have to control every single variable in your control. Be intentional about who you're calling, what you're saying, why you're calling them specifically, and what exactly you want the desired outcome to be of that call. The third thing you need to know to find more success on the phones and overcome objections is to deal with objections professionally. Like we said, objections are not personal. So it's not a negative representation of you, it's your idea. So if the prospect says, no, your idea is not good enough, I don't want to take your meeting. Well, a professional would say, why is that? Or if you are really good at cold calling and you're savvy and you're clever, you're going to frame your call to action in a way that forces a certain behavior, forces a certain response. So if you're calling a leader of human resources, you know that they care about hiring, engaging their people, retaining their people, making their people more happy. So you can ask questions oriented around those business outcomes that you know that their incentives are aligned with. And then whenever they say something along the lines of, I'm not interested, I don't have budget, it's not a good time, one of these objections, the professional way to deal with an objection is to say, I hear you. I'm glad you have a program in place. Hey, I don't expect you to change, but the reason why I encourage you to consider still taking my meeting is XYZ. You always want to validate, I heard you. And then 2, I agree with you. I agree that you shouldn't buy us today. I agree we're not talking about budget or money. I know that that's not what we're going to accomplish here today. What my objective is, what my intention is to set up an introductory meeting in light of you having a solution in place, because I would like to introduce the new industry trends report we just released, talk about your program, so that when you're in a position to renew or when you're considering how to increase the effectiveness of your program today, you're more aware of what else is out there in the market and how similar organizations are doing this thing. That's a bit long-winded, but there's snippets in there that you can use to overcome objections no matter what it is you're selling today. Be professional when seeking to overcome objections. The fourth thing you need to know to find more success on the phone is to recognize that you will not set a meeting every time. I think a lot of reps are incredibly rigid, and they're always worried about what is the silver bullet talk track, what can I say to set a meeting every single time no matter what. And the reality is it does not work that way. You have to keep showing up, you have to keep shooting your shot, and you're gonna miss, you're gonna be told no, it's not gonna go well most of the time. And if you look at the cold call Moneyball metrics, answer rate, set rate, show rate, and conversion rate, your answer rate is going to be sub 10%, your set rate is going to be sub 15%. So if you play that out over the course of 500 calls, 1,000 calls, 2,000 calls, there's going to be a lot of ugliness in that, but you got to put in those volumes, you got to keep going to eventually get the outcomes you want. And if a prospect simply says, we just signed a 3-year agreement with the other best vendor in the market, we absolutely love them, they were in my office yesterday and I'm so happy with it, good. I'm glad you're in a program. Right off that account, you're not getting in there. Some objections, they're not all created equal. You cannot overcome all of them. So if you truly are confronted with an objection that is insurmountable, recognize that, hey, this isn't the one, wish them all the best and move on, and spend your time focused on other accounts and other prospects where you actually do have a chance of setting a meeting with them or getting your desired outcome. And I think that is also another unlock, because you're not rigid and you're open-minded and you realize that I don't need to set a meeting every time. Hey, I can push, I can respond professionally to 2 objections, and once they give me that third, look, I'll back off, let's talk again in 3 months, and then live to fight another day. The fifth and final thing you need to know to overcome objections on the phone is to have fun. If you don't enjoy it, if you're not having some level of fun or satisfaction in the experience, in the process, in the pursuit, then sales probably isn't for you. If you think about what motivates you, I'm excited by the challenge, recognizing that if I can just set a meeting today, it will put me in a position to get more pipeline. The more pipeline, the more deals I'm working, the better chance I have of hitting my quota and closing revenue, the better chance I have of potentially helping this organization be better. So I'm excited by the challenge. It's not something I'm scaring away from. It's not something I'm avoiding. It's not something I'm resenting. I'm trying to have some level of enjoyment with it. And in a way, it is a bit therapeutic for me to pull up outreach, to have 40 call tasks and just sit back, put in my headphones and recognize there's nothing else in the world I need to be doing right now other than just pressing this darn call button, leaving my automated voice messages, and then when I inevitably get someone on the phone, sounding like I want to be there, sounding like I want to actually be talking to them, and be excited about it. I think that's so important. And I've heard other reps where they just don't sound like they want to be there. They sound like they're dreading it. They're not having fun with it. They're worried about it. They're on the edge of their seat. And they go in a booth to try and get away from other people. They're not having fun with it. That's not sustainable. So if you're not having fun with it, you need to figure out, well, what is blocking you from having more fun? And it's probably one of these first 4 things I listed. So if you enjoyed today's video, if you found value in this message of the 5 things you need to know to overcome objections on the phone, I know you've already hit the like button, so what you can do is you can comment down below letting me know how much you enjoyed this video and share this video with a friend. Thank you so much for watching here today, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.